All right, let's get right into it. Welcome back to another video of with the Everyday Tech Villain. I'm your guy, Matt Brooks. So today's topic is going to be about where should you start in cybersecurity if you're looking to get into cybersecurity. Reason why I'm making this video is because I had a buddy of mine. He sent me a text. He was letting me know, like, hey, read it verbatim. He said, "I'm still learning and getting certifications. I'm not 100% certain where I want to go with it." So he had texted me that, and so really had me thinking about, like, how did I choose where I wanted to go in cyber? Because there's a lot of places I could have went with it, and ultimately I ended up choosing identity access management, or IAM for short. And so I sent him what I use to help me figure out what I want to do with cybersecurity, or just essentially where I want to go. So I sent him the CISSP domains. So there's 8 domains for the CISSP. Okay, this is the elite level certification. So this is like the creme de la creme of, you just want a basic one minimum basic requirement for this certification is needing 5 years cyber experience in at least I think like combination of at least two of the domains, at least 5 years of experience in cybersecurity in at least 2 of the domains. So I just want to cover for 8 domains, just briefly cover them and then tell you why I chose identity access management. So first up, we have security and risk management. So security risk management, pretty straightforward to where pretty much make sure policies are put in place, managing risk. So policies, that's essentially what it is, governance, risk, and compliance. So that's a form pretty much where that would kind of fall into GRC, just mitigating much risk as possible by putting policies in place and following a security standard like NIST, or even if you're medical, HIPAA, all that kind of stuff. So pretty general, but for me, I realize the reason why I don't go with this is because I want to be more on the technical side. There's technical work that goes into security and risk management, but at the same time, I realize that's not me personality wise. Why it's not a good fit. When you start to really look and research into it, you kind of see what kind of job titles are associated with each domain, and what kind of work they do. So that's one of the key components, is to just go through each domain and just search up what they do and try to get an overall big picture of, just really get the big picture. All right. Number 2, asset security. So pretty much managing assets. So it can be, what's the job title for this? Let's see. Asset manager. So where you could be managing all the assets the company has, so laptops, tablets, company phones, anything that's considered pretty much any kind of technical asset the company would have, even digital assets. So there has to be somebody in the company to manage all those assets the company has. And so I don't know too much about it, but all I know is I don't want to spend my time managing assets. It's pretty straightforward. But like I said, I advise you just to look into it. I looked at it too once upon a time. Like I said, I'm just briefly going over this. This is for your convenience. Number 3, security architecture and engineering. All right, so security architecture and engineering. This was the first one that honestly truly piqued my engineer. I like doing stuff on the engineering side, whether I kind of find fun coding. Not necessarily coding. There's a difference between coding and scripting. There's a big debate between that, but I like scripting. So security architecture and engineering. So pretty much building out infrastructure. So using containers and using cloud platforms like Azure, AWS to build infrastructure, and then as well as securing that infrastructure. So pretty straightforward with that. I may not be 100% accurate on this, but just rock with me here. Like I said, if you want me to in the next video, I can make a follow-up video with this, and I can sit down with y'all and I'll go through each one and show you my process of looking through each domain and how I was able to pick what I ultimately chose. Number 4, communication and network security. So communication and network security. So pretty much networking, just anything to do with like being a network engineer. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, working with a network. I'm not sure what communications is about, but pretty much everything communicates over networks. So that's why I would say like anything to do, if your work is related to networking, then pretty straightforward. So within that, with being a network engineer, there's like network engineer and there's like network security engineer. But to even be a network engineer, I already know like people that do network engineering work, you got to know how to also secure the network if you're going to set up a network. All right, number 4. No, not number 4. We just covered number 4. Number 5, identity access management. My baby, my love. Identity access management. So this was the one that truly spoke to me. So at my time at Alliance, which is my previous company I was at, so I was already doing a lot of this work, and so it was one of those things to where that's why it easily spoke to me, because I was already doing the work, and so I love doing it. So I can really talk about this. This is my bread and butter. This is where I primarily want to focus on my channel and get more people into identity access management. You know, there's only a handful of us. So identity access management. So with identity access management, so it's pretty straightforward. It's creating and managing identities and managing what access and systems and all the things they have access to. So this is the backbone of everything tech, IT, cybersecurity, everything. This is the fundamental part of infrastructure. So some of the terms you may, even if you're not in tech, some of the terms you might be familiar with is multi-factor authentication. Nowadays, a lot of applications and a lot of websites, everything uses multi-factor authentication, to where you have to set up 2 forms of verification. So whether that might be using an authenticator app, sending a text to your phone, there's many ways to authenticate. So multi-factor authentication, you get terminology like SSO, and then you get into the whole back end. You can learn about APIs and how you can create SSO, API, and all that jargon. And so, but a lot of identity access management has to do with automation as well. You know, pretty much scripting. You know, scripting things, get things automated on the back end, so that way. So I currently work at CBS and work full-time from home, so it's a blessing. I really enjoy it, so I don't take that for granted. So let's say I get a ticket that comes, and there's a typical ticket type is, let's say, it will say automation failure, and it'll give a reason why automation had failed. And so what I would have to go do, so there would be a requester. So there's always a requester, and then on the requester is the person they need serviced for an entitlement. So an entitlement is just another word for group. So they need group access. So what I would do is, I already have my elevated credentials to go log into one of the internal domains, or one of on-prem servers. So that's what I primarily work with, is all their on-prem servers. I do a little bit of stuff in Azure, but with this role, it's mostly on-prem. And so I log into the on-prem server, and I go ahead and search up the user, and then find the entitlement they need. Remember, entitlement is just another word for group. Give them the group access. Go ahead and assign it to their account, and supply. Cool, they got the access now. And before I do all this, the main key thing is always verifying your tickets and make sure. That's really where it all begins, is with identity access management, is verification of the request that even comes in. So before you even start doing any of the work, you want to make sure the ticket's properly filled out, nothing's missing. You want to be very accurate with what you do, because, like I said, what I do is in identity access management on the infrastructure. So how a lot of companies get hacked is the fact that they get elevated access. It's like the MGM casino, how they got hacked is through the help desk, to where someone from the help desk gave a hacker elevator credentials, and then next they started working their way up, grabbing higher level credentials and getting more access to the system, because let's say you make it to an executive account that has access over a whole department and branches of business, and then boom, just like that, they can use that to grab somebody else's credentials. So it can get a whole message like jumbled up headphones in your pocket. So yeah, so that's just a little tidbit about identity access management. That's why I love, so pretty much just creating identities, giving access to different identities. It's scripts, some scripting. There's a lot you can go with. Like I said, I'm just giving a general brief overview. Up front, it seems super simple, it's easy. It can be at times, but you also have the days where things don't like to play with you well. So then you gotta really sit down and really figure some stuff out. And yeah, so that's a little bit about identity access management. That's one I ultimately end up choosing. Next, we're gonna go with security assessment and testing. I don't know too much about this one. Security assessment and testing. So if I were to assume security assessment and testing, so I would have to go, like, I think that would be more related to like penetration testers. So your pen testers, your red teamers, pretty much assessing the security. So typically, company would hire a pen testing company to come here, test our security, try to see what kind of information you can get within scope. And yeah, that's pretty much what that one is. A lot of people want to be red teamers. Everybody kind of grows up dreaming about being a hacker, and especially to be a legal, paid for hacker. It's pretty cool. But already with that, your red team is already flooded with a lot of people. It's very competitive. But hey, if you got the skills to do it, you got the skills to do it. So yeah. Security operations. This one, to be honest, not too familiar with at all. Security operations, if I had to guess. Let's see, security operations. Yeah, I'm just prepped to skip over this one, but like I say, if you want me to, we can make a separate video and we can sit down and go over each of these. To where I was more sort of just focusing on one, as to where key thing is when looking at these different domains, is figuring out what's going to match you personality-wise. What's your stress level, what's your tolerance level? Because some of these roles are more demanding than others. So just looking at what does somebody in this kind of domain do, what do they do on a day-to-day basis? Because even within these domains, there's different, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different job titles within these domains. So speaking back to identity access management, so you can be on the developer side of it, to where you got to know like JavaScript, and you're doing a lot of web development of setting up using APIs and SSO and integration, making different systems talk to each other. So that's one of the big parts. And as well as there's consultants, there's architects, then you have people like me, analysts, engineers. You have, and even still within those job titles, like you have identity access management engineers, but their work can be completely night day different with what they do. So like I say, even within it gets pretty granular. So yeah, let's see here. Then last but not least, software development security. So DevSecOps. So with DevSecOps, so a lot of that's cloud. So it's pretty much where software developers and then security people get together. They marry the two together and securing the software and make sure everything is all secure, tied up in a bow. So that's pretty much the full 8 domains. And my biggest thing with this video is just to introduce you to it, so that way you can kind of use that as a guideline to get you started on where to look at. Like I said, go through each domain, research each domain. What I mean by research is look at the jobs. That's what you're looking for. Like I say, you don't know where you want to go. That's why you're watching this video. I'm a little lost. You want to figure out where you want to go. Watch through each video. And not watch through it, but search up each one, figure out what you like and don't like. You create a list of likes and don't likes, and to see which one adds up more for you. Like I said, what I went through identity access management, and plus you already might be, for those of you that's already in IT, or even not even in IT but doing like similar IT adjacent kind of work, if you're already doing something that's already kind of aligns with one of these domains, then just already go with that. For me, like I said, when I was at Alliance, I was already doing things that related to IAM work. So the official title with my given title was support engineer. But like I said in my first video, if the work you're doing already aligns with a different job title, you can go ahead and just swap your title to what it fits. So whereas like if you're a janitor, but you're a janitor, but your official job title is janitor, but you're doing software, you're sitting at a desk doing software engineer work, then you're a software engineer. So just because you're given a title doesn't mean you have to use that title. But do not lie, because when you get an interview and they get to question you, so your job title is this, so tell me about the work you did as blank. So like with me, I can speak to each of my job titles. My official job titles for when I was at Wells Fargo was help desk specialist. I changed that to junior IAM analyst. And then after that with Alliance, my official job title was support engineer. Changed that to IAM engineer, because I was doing a lot of engineering work. I was doing a lot of scripting. I was doing a lot of back end work. Like I said, I was very hands on with that role. Then with my official job title here at CVS is very befitting. IAM analyst. So I'm doing IAM analyst work. So with your previous position, like I said, I had those given job titles, doesn't mean you got to use those job titles, because I was already doing the kind of work of identity access management. I was full on doing it. Because like my role with Wells Fargo, like I said, I was help desk specialist, but I was using IAM tools like that a normal help desk person would use. Normal help desk doesn't use, CyberArk. Normal help desk doesn't use Okta. Normal help desk uses Active Directory. Everybody uses Active Directory, but that's one of those things. I was using their internal Active Directory, CyberArk, and I was doing a lot of Okta administration type of work, as well as checking back with HR systems to see if a person's inactive or not in Workday. So it was a lot of identity access management work. I wasn't doing your typical help desk work. I was doing resetting passwords, helping people get access to different systems that they need to, all that. And when I was at Alliance, I was doing helping revamp. I was doing work of I can change my job title to IAM consultant, IAM architect. So I did everything related to those different type of roles as a consultant. I was working with executives on a day-to-day basis. I was working at their headquarters, so I'm on spaces, and like my main go-to guy was the CFO. Then I'm talking to the COO. Then I'm talking to the head of marketing. All the VPs, especially the traveling VPs that travel around. So I'm dealing with them a lot, as well as all the upper managers. Okay, they need this in place, so having meetings. Okay, what do you need? Set up infrastructure, doing consulting work, a lot of that. So and then as well as architecture, like I said, designing systems for what they need. Is like, hey, like for instance, like one of my biggest projects I worked on was revamping the whole onboarding, offboarding process. Just on every day, not every day, but every Monday, creating 50 to 80 accounts. When I got there, the company had 1,600 employees. By the time I left after 9 months, they had 2,600 employees. So that was a wild ride. Assigning a lot of different Microsoft licenses and all that, as well as being a data custodian, as well as being managing endpoints. So there's a lot of stuff I can speak on to where I wear many different hats. So it's one of those things I can hold those titles, and I can speak on that, and I can, if you interview me for a consultant, I can tell you all the type of consultant work I did there. You interview me for as an architect, I can tell you all the kind of architect work I did there. So like I said, don't lie. Do what aligns with the work that you were truly doing there. So yeah. But like I said, if you want me to make another video going in more in depth, of like show you my process of how I was able to do the process of elimination, figure out what domain I want, and not only what domain I want to go with. On top of that, I was able to choose the path I want to, the job path I want to go down within that domain. So like I said, there's many different job titles within each domain. So if you want me to do that, go ahead in the comment section. Go ahead and drop gems. If you want some real gems, want some games, some true knowledge, go ahead in the comment section, drop gems in the comment section. So I'll make sure I like each and every comment. Every comment I can get a chance to get to. Make sure you leave a like, turn the notification bell, and subscribe. All right. Thank you for tuning in.